Bill Gates, George Soros, Klaus Schwab. None of them were elected, yet somehow they're everywhere, looking behind WHO, the UN, the IMF, even your government. Of course, it's a conspiracy theory, right?
Do you think you're a free citizen? Like, do you actually believe that falling under the democratic system gives you power to change the world? Well, hate to break to you, but you've already been brainwashed. Not your fault. I mean, your brain has literally been programmed by someone else's system. And guess what? That program is still running right now, getting updates constantly. But if you stick around till the end of the video, I promise, you're gonna see exactly what that system is and how it goes. And just a heads up, today, we're gonna be poking around in some pretty forbidden territory, so if I pause or pull back at certain points, it's intentional. I hope you catch what I'm doing. I just don't want a delivery guy showing at my door tomorrow morning, So, what is democracy? What did they teach us in school? Democracy, freedom, equality, human rights, all this shiny stuff. And what they do? Every 4 or 5 years, we vote. We pick some politician. They pay some love. Then we argue about it on the news, get pissed off on Twitter, repost angry memes on Instagram, and we called it participation. But let me be real with you. You've been fucking brainwashed. That freedom you think you have, it's not yours. That choice you think you made, not really yours either. If the rage you feel, it's not your emotion. It was planted. That's what people are saying. I'm just showing it, okay? I'm not the one saying this. Don't come for me to others. Yeah. So what is democracy, really? So let's break this down. Demo means the people, like ordinary folks. Kratos means power or rule. Put it together. And democracy means the people rule. Yo, I'm the ruler, apparently. I was just born. Then the shit. There aren't any. But I'm the boss now? Damn. That's not how to hand someone on day one, huh? But let's flip the script. This world has always been ruled by a tiny elite. That's how it's always been. Track history, any era, any continent, so. What does people say on the hand of power? Why do they call you the ruler? Be honest with yourself. Are really in charge? Can the public actually change anything on their own? Can a bunch of NPCs who don't even think from themselves so reprogram the game they're stuck in? Let me be crystal clear about this. The masses, ordinary citizens, they have never, never been smart. No once. If that offends you, go ahead and memorize it anyway. Because it's not my opinion. It's just history. People treat democracy like freedom. The French Revolution, the American Revolution, it's all romanticized as the people rising it, right? But when you're German, it's just a power handoff. No freedom, no revolution, just the same ruling class stepping office. From aristocrats with bloodlines to capitalists with bank accounts, new masters, same game. And what about this Rousseau and Locke said? Natural right, social contract. Sounds noble as hell. But let's be real. There was bourgeois propaganda. Rich merchants, landowners, all the capitalists, they were sick of kings hogging on the power. So they made up a new system where they could run the show. That system is what we now call representative democracy. Who's Fox? BlackRock, Vanguard. Who owns CNN? BlackRock and Vanguard. CNBC, BlackRock, Vanguard. The New York Times, BlackRock, Vanguard. The Washington Post, CBC, Comcast, Disney, Gannett. You guessed it. BlackRock and Vanguard. That's right. No. These two companies basically own everything. Like, not just companies, entire global systems. Some people even say they have influence over international organizations. Crazy, right? But hey, I don't believe any of that. I'm just a guy telling the story, okay? Don't get it twisted. Don't shoot the messenger. By the way, there's a rumor floating around that Citibank and JP Morgan Chase own over 70% of the Federal Reserve. I mean, technically, the Fed is a private institution. The government borrows money from it. Then the people, you and me, pay the interest through taxes. I don't know if it's true, but that's what people are saying. I care not to make the nation's laws. Let me control the money, and I will control the nation. So yeah, apparently this did actually said that. I don't really know what it means, but sounds kind of badass, right? Truth is, democracy is part of the people. It's power dressed up in a people-friendly costume. It's a slick marketing move. Back then, they used swords and soldiers. Today, they use thoughts and media. Let me tell you your basic sales trick. It's not about convincing you to buy or not buy. It's about making you feel like you're making a choice. Like, I'll set up the frame so that you're not thinking, should I buy something or not? Nope. You're stuck thinking, should I get the A product or the B product? Let's say you walk into a department store. You're trying to decide, should I get the Louis Vuitton, the Celine, or maybe the Dior? You're comparing them, weighing the price, the sale, what feels the most to me. And you walk out thinking, nice, I made a rational decision today. But what just happened? You were never choosing freedom. You were just picking from options inside the LVMH or Dodge brands, same fucking company. Let's say there's an advertising company. This company gets a job from a client to create a commercial. The ad compares 3 different products from 3 different companies. Product A is cheaper than product B, but performs better. And product C has its own strengths. But what if all 3 companies actually belong to the same person? In the end, the client controls all the distribution. And the rational choice you then made was exactly what they wanted. Just set up to boost their own sales. What do you call that? That's the media, owned by the same giant capitalists. It was never a choice. It was a frame they gave you. What I mean is, no matter what you choose, the other side profits. And even the choice can be set up to make you pick a specific side. Democracy does the exact same shit. It gives you the illusion of choice. You turn the TV to candidates. You compare policies, watch debates, read headlines, analyze speeches, and you feel like, damn, I'm making an informed decision. But you ever wonder, what if both of those guys are on the same team? What if it's a part of the script? You still believe there's a left and a right? Like CNN and Fox are actual enemies or something? Real power, they don't give you real choices. They don't show their faces. They don't need to. If you ever go over who's a better leader or which side is a real problem, you've already caught. The energy you gave to the fight, gone, sucked right into the frame. Alright, here's my hand. Whose is it? Mine, obviously. But let's say my whole body's hidden behind the wall. You can't see me, you just see the hand. So, how to figure out whose hand it is? Simple. You trace the blood. What blood is flowing through this hand? Mine. Kim Chom's blood. So, yeah, it's my hand. Now listen. In capitalism, if you want to know who someone really works for, just check whose blood is running through them. And by blood, I mean money. You want to know who someone really serves. A person, a company, a politician, organization. Ask one thing. Who's funding it? Whose money is flowing through it? Blood is money. That's the only truth you need. Don't fall for what they say. What's what they do? Look at where the money flows. That's who they really work for, huh? They look like totally different groups, right? But wait, turns out they're funded by the same source. Then guess what? They're the same body, same blood, flowing through all of them. Doesn't matter what they say, follow the money. That's who owns them. That's who they ask to. Bill Gates, George Soros, Klaus Schwab. None of them were elected. Yet somehow, they're everywhere. Looking behind WHO, the UN, the IMF, even the government. Of course, it's a conspiracy theory, right? I mean, the real power of what's been behind the scenes. That's literally what history books say. But yeah, totally a conspiracy, obviously. And just so you know, in 1967, the CIA issued an internal memo called Dispatch 1035-916. It instructed agents to use the term conspiracy theorist to discredit anyone who questioned the official story about President John F. Kennedy's assassination, specifically those who criticized the Warren Commission report. That's an actual historical fact, but hey, still just a conspiracy theory, right? You know, before COVID-19, Bill Gates was already investing billions into WHO and Gavi. Then once the pandemic hit, boom! Global lockdowns, QR passes, vaccine mandates, school closures, small business wiped out. Every country is only following the same damn script. You speak out, you get silenced. YouTube deleted, Twitter blocked, Facebook shadow banned. You say, hey, are these vaccines really safe? You are left as dangerous misinformation. The NIS and CDC, they literally signed deals with fact-checkers to suppress alternative views. And what happened later? Vaccine side effects came out. The companies apologized, but the damage already done. And I'm sure some of you already know this. Back on October 18th, 2019, the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation hosted something called Event 201, a pandemic simulation. What's wild is, in that simulation, the virus they used was a coronavirus. That was before Coco ever showed up. You know what I mean? So, how did the aliens know exactly what kind of virus was about to go global?
I think an epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths.
An epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused,
From high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. New vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us. The future is built by us.
This crisis has shown us that, first of all, things can shift very rapidly when we put our minds to it and when we feel the immediate emergency to our livelihoods. And second, that clearly the system, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, that we had before is not sustainable. So I see it as a tremendous opportunity to have this great reset.
Is this what democracy looks like? Or are we living in an attack on the bureaucracy surveillance state that just feels like freedom? Just for the record, on May 20th, 2025, all WHO member states unanimously adopted the pandemic accord at the World Health Assembly in Geneva. One of the key frameworks in that accord is called the One Health approach. Basically, it means building human surveillance systems to detect and respond to diseases more efficiently. Yep, it's already been adopted. And don't worry, they also made it clear. They'll be going after misinformation and disinformation during future pandemics. Who decides what counts as misinformation? I guess the WHO does. I mean, just look at YouTube right now. You think I can't say this stuff out loud? Why not? I mean, there are millions of diseases in the world. But this specific one, can't question it, can't criticize it. Why? Well, because our great and wise allies already told us how to think. So, let's not be rude, okay? You know George Soros, right? Yeah, that guy who's been throwing insane amounts of money into core systems, schools, and media all over the world, all through his Open Society Foundation. But Why? It's not charity. It's literally building a global elite class that's loyal to far-left ideologues. By have the judges, shape the education, control the narrative. And then there's the World Economic Forum. Those is who get world leaders in a room and chant the Great Reset like it's some holy gospel. What are they talking about exactly? Sharing private property, total surveillance, yes, they crack controlling businesses. It's not a conspiracy theory, man. They fucking say out loud. Just look at world leaders, presidents, and politicians giving speeches around the globe. Same script, same words, all of the word. Why? Because they're all puppets. Left wing or right wing, doesn't matter. There's one single script behind them all. Now, I don't have time to go over every example, or this video gets long. But take Trump, for example. He says he's against CBDCs, but at the same time, he's pushing for the digital eye control. He says he's against CBDCs, but look at what they're doing through banks like JP Morgan. They're trying to control people using stablecoins instead. Even if they don't push CBDCs directly, those stablecoins will be backed by US bonds and spread globally. It's all about worldwide control. Now, if this same policy had come from a left-wing government, people over-resisted. But since it's Trump doing it, no one says a word. And it's not just Trump. This is happening everywhere, worldwide. I'll probably have to make a separate video on this later, though. Honestly, YouTube might censor it. And what do politicians keep repeating in every speech? Recurring pandemics, yes management, the New World Order, the digital Great Reset. God, fuck. I have so much more to say on this, but let me say just one thing. Real people of that movement never agree on everything. It's impossible for natural formed groups to be 100% in sync. In a normal world, people have different thoughts. And in that world, nothing should be sacred. And no one should be untouchable. Anyone should be able to criticize anything. But now, there's this global movement, and somehow, everyone's saying the same things. Exactly the same phrase. If you have a brain, that should feel wrong. Seriously. Seriously. Why is Marxism spreading like wildfire? Let me ask you something. What scares or commercialism the most? Wealthy citizens. Because when people have money, they don't need the sad animal. In a commercialism, nobody's allowed to be rich. Why? Because the moment you get rich, you're treated to the system. And that's a problem. In a real communist system, nobody's allowed to be rich, except the ones running it. You see all these college students joining feminism rallies, screaming political slogans like they came up with that. Do you honestly think they thought of that on their own? Hell no. They're not thinking. They're being programmed. Ever noticed this? One moment, someone exposes something on social media, or a story suddenly blows up on the news, and then, boom! All these shiny permit logos show up everywhere. Like they had it all ready to go, just waiting for the right moment. Just designing these organization logos could easily cost over $10,000. There's this far-right conspiracy theory that says there might be some kind of organization behind all this. But hey, we're not supposed to believe that, right? Just for context, there are two major national tragedies in South Korea: the Seoul ferry disaster and the Itaewon car crash. There are always specific tragedies we're told to mourn. They're already decided. Other accidents, you can mourn if you want or not. It's your choice. But these tragedies that the state has selected, we're not allowed to raise any questions, and they never fade even after decades. These two tragedies also have something in common. Right after the incident, certain civic groups and logos suddenly appeared, as if they were waiting. This is the logo for those Seoul ferry sinking. Probably just a coincidence. For reference, this incident happened on April 16, 2014. But how did they know the incident would happen beforehand? Why did they reject Samsung's offer to salvage the fair for free and instead hire a Chinese company to do the work? This is from the Itaewon tragedy. Nice artwork, right? Also just a coincidence. Maybe. If you add up the numbers in the days of both tragedies, you get a strange number. Even the street addresses where the incidents occurred. If you add up those numbers, you get the same result. And when the president made a national address just 12 hours after the Itaewon tragedy, if you add up the numbers in that timestamp too, you get the same number again. Of course, it's probably just a coincidence. Damn, that's kind of terrifying. I'm not making any of this up. You can literally look at it. It's all up there. But yeah, I'm sure it's all just coincidence. The global flow of culture, ideas, social justice buzzwords, none of that is random. It's engineered, strategically, on purpose. You think it's a coincidence that, suddenly, around the world, the same ideologies pop up at the same time? New groups appear out of nowhere. Their logos and slogans all of the media, flags waving, chants blaring. And you really believe a bunch of 19 years old just came up with all that from scratch? Ever notice the protests? Same logos, same yellow flags, same red flags. Who picked this? Seriously, who decided that? Look, World War III isn't gonna be fought with tanks. It fought with ideas, environment, equality, human rights, feminism, democracy, diversity, inclusion. Sounds nice, right? But here's how it works. They build activist groups on those slogans. They steer public opinion. They elect politicians. No bomb, no invasions. Just full control without firing a single shot. Think about the last 10 years. Does it feel like everything shifted fast? You think feminism just happened? Like a natural event? Yeah, probably just another coincidence. That's what the elders say, right? We're not supposed to ask questions. We're just supposed to read the answer sheet and repeat it. In George Orwell's dystopian novel, 1984, there's a line that goes like this. The party told to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. That was their final, most essential command. Human rights? Who the hell doesn't want that? Everyone loves right. Who doesn't want a little more freedom, a little more welfare, right? It sounds great. But here's a question. Why the fuck the people at the top of the world, governments, elites, billionaires, why they be the ones handing that to you out of the kindness of their hearts? You think it's because they're nice? Come on. Wake up! Listen closely. Of feminism, it can't let women actually become empowered. Because the second women truly gain power, their resolution is reason to exist. Same goes for welfare-driven populist governments. They need their third class to stay weak, dependent. If they actually fix the problem, no more voters, no more purpose. That's why in communist regimes, no citizen is ever allowed to get too rich. Because wealth equals independence. And independence is dangerous to the system. Their goal is simple, to make sure no one can ever rise. A perfectly controlled society. That's what they're after. Now, let's talk about taxing the rich. Sound amazing, right? Let's tax the rich and spread to the working class. Feels so fair. But how the fuck are we actually gonna tax them? You think the real rich have taxable income, like you and me? The ultra wealthy don't pay taxes. Even the richest guy on earth doesn't pay shit in taxes. They take loans against their stocks. And when it comes to the interest, they just take on more loans to pay it. I mean, stocks aren't taxed until you sell them anyway. And the super rich with offshore corporations, how the hell are you gonna track the income? They've got companies in Singapore, Dubai, the Caymans. But sure, let's keep yelling tax the rich while they're left from their yachts. So who really gets fucked? It's always the middle class. The people in between, the ones trying to climb up. They're the ones who get crushed. And you're out here cheering them on, thinking you're sticking it to the man, while you're literally kicking away your own damn ladder. You kill off upper mobility. And the alley class, they just get stronger, more untouchable. So when rich alleys talk about more welfare, don't fall for the PR. They're not doing it out of kindness. They're doing it to lock shit down. Let me hit you with something real. You've probably heard of Sigmund Freud, right? The guy who laid the foundation for how to think about the unconscious mind. Well, his nephew, Edward Bernays, is the dude who basically invented more propaganda. By the way, fun fact, the so-called father of more propaganda, Edward Bernays, his nephew is the guy who created Netflix. Yup, the same Netflix you binge every night. Everything you watch, everything you think is your choice. Where do you think it comes from? It's all part of the same system. Every damn thing is controlled. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up yourself. And in 1928, he said this. People learn what to think before they learn how to think. Just let that sink in for a sec. Now think about the news you watch every day. Why do you judge me true? Every damn day is like, Elon did this, Trump said that, this celeb got cancelled, some incident happened somewhere. Have you ever actually seen it with your own eyes? Heard it with your own ears? Felt it in your gut? Or are you just believing whatever someone else told you to believe? Let's flip the question. Why the hell do media even tell you the truth? Fear, anger, hate, anxiety. That's what they're selling. The media is basically in the fear business, the outright business. They keep feeding you negativity because it shuts your brain off. Why? Because people who are scared, pissed, or anxious don't think. They just react. CNN, Fox, BBC, doesn't matter. Different names, same game. Their job is to inform you. It's to trigger you. Clickbait headlines, emotional shock value. Because emotion is the most powerful weapon there is. Emotion clouds judgment. It short circuits your thinking. It makes you biased, makes you trouble, makes you manipulatable. They keep us trapped in the past or stuck in the present. So we never dare to imagine the future. They make us fight each other. So we never see the enemy we're actually supposed to fight. No one has the right to take away the freedom that was given to us by God. We need to unite, not against each other, but against the real evil, the ones pulling the strings. Let's talk facts. The 2020 US election cost over $14 billion in campaign spending. That's more than the entire GDP of some countries. Still think it's about the people treating their leader? Hell no. It's a psychological arms race, a data war, a battle of who can push your emotional buttons the hardest. Remember Cambridge Analytica? They straight up sold data from 87 million Facebook users, profiled their political leanings, and then blasted them with content specifically designed to piss them off and push them towards certain actions. That's not a free choice. That's a reaction pre-programmed by an algorithm. You think you're different? That you're rational, independent, neutral? Really? There's this class study you might have heard of. It's by a guy named Solomon Asch, super respected in social psychology. It's called the Asch conformity experiment, and it's honestly kinda terrifying. So here's what happened. They put together a group of 8 people, but only one of them was a real participant. The other 7, total actors. Now, the test was stupid simple, like elementary school level simple. They show everyone a line. Then, they show 3 more lines. Your job? Just pick which one matches the original. That's it. And it's blatantly obvious, like you'd have to be drunk to miss it. But guess what? When all 7 fake participants gave the wrong answer out loud, the real person started doing the same. They literally chose the wrong answer just because everyone else did. You know, how many people didn't vote for it? Only 26%, which means 74% of people gave it, even though the right answer was right in front of them. No one threatened them. No one yelled. Nobody said, "Hey, pick this or else." They just watched everyone else and went along with the crowd. And it gets worse. Other experiments show this too. If you're alone in a room and smoke starts coming out of the vent, most people get up and call for help. Makes sense, right? But if you're in a room with a few people and nobody react, you'll probably just sit there too, breathing in smoke like an idiot. Same thing with emergencies. In one test, a woman was clearly in pain, like seriously suffering. But if everyone around stayed passive, nobody helped. Not because they were bad people, but because the environment was set up that way. They didn't act heartless. They just looked around, saw no one else doing anything, and thus, I guess this isn't a big deal. This is what I'm trying to say. Humans are not free. We like to think we are, but we are not. Your decisions heavily shaped by the environment around you. You're programmable, easily. Like, seriously, if someone smart enough wants to guide your behavior, they can, effortlessly. Today's society isn't organic. There's a flow, a current, that tells you what to think, what to feel, what to support, what to cancel. And here's the scariest part. It didn't just happen. Someone built it on purpose. And we rarely question it. Not because we're dumb, but because we're human. And humans are built to follow. So don't get twisted. Just because you feel like you made a choice doesn't mean you did. Alright, let's circle back to the real point here. This is new. This shit was already written about 2,000 years ago by a dude named Plato. So why did Plato hate democracy? Because while democracy loves to scream about freedom, what it actually creates is chaos. There was really one reason Plato trusted democracy. He believed dumb-ass majorities would destroy a nation. And you know what? He wasn't wrong. The masses have always been ignorant. There's never been a time in history when the general public was collectively smart. It's always been the sharp few pulling the rest along. That's why Plato said the state should be ruled by wise philosophers, people who actually know shit. But democracy? It acts like everyone's opinion is equally valid just because they're breathing. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone's on the operating table, dying. And instead of letting an actual surgeon decide how to save them, you hand the mic to the crowd and say, "Alright, y'all, let's vote. Should we use a scalpel or a hammer?" Sounds like a joke, right? But that's literally what's happening in today's society. People with zero medical knowledge are out here canceling doctors, trashing scientific protocols, all based on vibe and hashtags. And guess what? People die. That's democracy for you. In the Republic, Plato broke down how political systems fall apart in 5 stages: aristocracy, timocracy, oligarchy, democracy, tyranny. See where this is going? Yo, democracy is the stage right before total collapse. So why do you think so many philosophers warned us about democracy? Because the masses are, and always have been, stupid. And when people are stupid, it's ridiculously easy for a few allies to control them. Take Dubai, the UAE. You know them, right? They're filthy rich. And guess what? They're a monarchy, following dictatorship. Look at Singapore, insanely rich. But it's not a liberal democracy either. Meanwhile, leftist government keeps spewing that same nonsense. A nation ruled by its people. A government led by the citizens. But here's the truth. A truly great country is one where you don't have to care about politics. Where even if you know nothing about policy or government, your life is still peaceful, safe, and full of opportunity. You can focus on your own hustle, your family, your dreams, and still thrive. Is that what you really want? Of course, with the way the world's going now. Yeah, we'd better wake the hell up and start paying attention. So, the left screams about equality and diversity. The right shouts freedom and competition. And you think they're totally different? Hell no. Both sides see humans as nothing more than material beings. The left talks about redistribution, basically money and resources. The right, they talk about freedom to grow, which also means just make more money. The allies and globalists are trying to create a world without God. They're killing religion, destroying the family, and trying to leave nothing behind. No love, no morality, no anything. With worldwide anti-marriage propaganda, they've created the lowest birth rates in history. Especially in Korea, if so much as mention Jesus in a video, people in the comments treat you like you're mentally ill. They're wiping out all spiritual power in humanity. But as many of you already know, Freemasons do not accept atheists. Why's that? Because the elves know how powerful their soul is. So they strip even the God-given faith from soulless slaves. And right now, the entire world runs on one thing. Fucking money. Where's the soul in that? Where's conviction? Where's meaning? We become creatures that don't even think animal. We're just trying to survive. Or consume. Eat. Earn. Spend. Repeat. That's it. But if you want to be more than just a warm body with a paycheck, if you want to live like a real human being, you gotta break up this goddamn materialist worldview. Humans aren't defined by their wallets. We're defined by our ideas, by our spirit, by our convictions. Look at this table. I don't care how high-end it is. You'll maybe pay $100 for it. But the idea behind it, the person who first came up with that design, that could be worth millions. That's the point. The real value lives up here. In the Genesis said it, right? In the image of God, man was created. You know what that means? It means we are literally born with the ability to create reality, to shape the world just like God. But look at us now. We're not creator animal. We're just reacting to capital, to the government, to the trends, to Instagram, TikTok, groupthink, algorithms. Nietzsche had a name for people like this. He called them the last man, a human who seeks nothing but comfort, avoids pain, avoids risk, avoids growth, a human that just consumes. But Nietzsche didn't stop there. He said we could become something greater, Übermensch, the overman, the one who creates his own values, the one who walks alone but owns his story, the one who builds his own damn universe. Isn't that who you want to be? Or do you want to live your whole life being picked, pushed, manipulated, like some background NPC in someone else's game? If you're human, then live like it. Think like it. Rise the fuck up and use that divine free will you were born with. Brexit? There was a national vote driven by bullshit, lies, and emotional manipulation. And look at what happened. The UK economy took a nosedive. Venezuela? Yo, they elected a dictator through democracy. And when the currency became toilet paper and inflation went insane, 16% of the people still supported him. During COVID, every major media outlet and tech platform moved in sync, deleting any voice that went against the narrative. And people still believe all of it was totally normal. That wasn't consensus, that was coordinated control. So listen, you've got to start questioning everything. Every time a new police pops up, a new trend starts, and some group starts making noise. Ask yourself, why? You go tell a North Korean that Kim Jong-un's a dictator, they'll get pissed. Why? Because they're brainwashed. Now ask yourself, if just questioning something makes you uncomfortable or defensive, that's a red flag. That means you've already been programmed. A healthy society welcomes questions. We should be allowed to ask, why is this Trump narrative untouchable? Why can't we even talk about that political figure without backlash? Why is this group considered sacred? Why is the belief considered evil by default? We have to be able to question everything. Gender, race, politics, history, marginalized groups, cultural icons, all of it. No one and nothing should be off limits. Because once the questioning stops, thinking stops. And when that happens, you're not free animal. You're just reacting, following, consuming, obeying. So now, it's your turn to choose. Keep living as someone else's puppet. Or start today and rebel your own damn philosophy. This world is made of matter. It's made of ideas. And only ideas can change it. Every real revolution in history started with one idea, one belief. And without belief, you'll never create anything. Be a player. Don't die of fucking empathy. I'll see you in the next one. Stay awake. Stay free.